I did. All right. Hello, everyone. And welcome to the AARPG's Leftovers podcast. I'm joined tonight on time with my co-host Matt, and I'm not going first five solo. I still need a new camera, and welcome again. Tonight we're going to talk about a few things, and we will meander off the path, I'm sure, as we always do. We might be joined by Nathan, who keeps trying to get on, but he can't. But we're going to talk one about like our kids getting into basically gaming because Matt has me and Matt have children of a similar age. Nathan, his kids are in college. Actually, they're out working, so it's interesting. We might mention the D&D, the changes, some of the D&D rumors of the new system, which are interesting, just to comment on them and the uniqueness of it, for lack of better. That the new super chat option is available. Matt, you got to explain that to me.
That's a great segue, Sean.
Yeah, it is, because I just saw the private chat. And I said, "What super chat?"
Right. I'm glad. So I'm glad you read the private chat out loud.
Yeah. Well, it's a question. It's not like, hey, you got a freaking nose goblin hanging out, or something like that.
Man. So I'll start with that before kind of moving on to the main theme. So just for anyone that's watching or anyone who watches this later, I think what we want to collectively, I want to say for the group is thanks to everybody out there that watches. Thanks to everybody who subscribes, who tunes in, who listens to the podcast, who watches the videos, who provides us comments, feedback, everything else. I kind of this is kind of like when you're playing like a role-playing game and you go up a level. Maybe some levels you just get like a bonus to one of your saves and you get some more hit points, right? And sometimes you go up a level and it's kind of you got to learn something new. You have to pick a new subclass or you can learn a new feat or something. So part of this is, so I want to say thanks to everybody, because in the last week or so, the AARPG has hit a couple of milestones, and with that is the gift of having to learn new stuff. So one of that is we hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We're a little bit over that. Again, just want to say thank you to subscriber number 1 all the way through subscriber number 1003. And the other thing is that thanks to, again, to folks who come in, they watch the content. We've sort of hit sort of YouTube's first threshold for, I don't know, monetization. I'm going to use that term lightly because
Very
this is
lightly.
not a, this is not a
Very lightly.
million plus, subscribers channel or anything like that. But what little things you might see that are changing, we're having to learn how to do, spending some time researching, is how to adjust. So things like shows like super chat, super stickers. We've had the discussion about whether we want to do Patreon. Now there's an option for a membership service. So we're kind of having those discussions. Another thing that hopefully you'll see in the near future, instead of me having to always go and say, "Hey, Sean, let's pull up our website and show them our store," is hopefully we'll be able to bombard you with our merchandise right in the video. So we're super excited about that. But as much as all of that is very fun, it's nice and interesting to learn how to do. Again, we just want to say thank you. I don't really know, like, it feels the same to hit 1,000 as it did to hit 100, because quite frankly, when we hit like 100 subscribers a long time ago, I was like blown away, because I couldn't believe that 100 people would listen to us, let alone 1,000.
So it was a big deal. So Matt has talked about, he looks at the numbers for all our followers, all 1,000 of our subscribers.
Day,
And he talks
multiple
about it. He's done
times a day.
PowerPoints on it. And I'm not joking. He's done PowerPoints on it. It's sort of cool, right? It is. But the first 100 shocked us. That is absolutely true, because we did this as a game. It's just, we were doing this because we're spread out, and it was, apparently Matt and Nathan had talked about it for a while. Other people had mentioned it, people, but they're the one that approached everybody else with the idea. There's no NDAs involved or anything like that. We just get on and we play. If this were ever developing to something where it would turn like a serious profit, so be it. But we're just trying to have fun, because when something gets bigger and more famous, it does take away from the simplicity like we're enjoying now of it, which is us just getting on. We're not worried that much about what we say. We're not trying to offend anybody, so we do, like with our recorded stuff, we always try and be sensitive to people's feelings, because sometimes jokes are taken out of context, right? So, but we're not that worried about it, because this is us just having fun, and we appreciate everybody who likes us, likes it, and wants it. We've learned a lot. I like to remind everybody to like, follow, and subscribe. That's how we got over 1,000.
That's right.
And I appreciate that, and we all appreciate that. Anybody who enjoys it. I want to say once again, Pods for the People. That's not my communist plot. It's just something me and Chris came up with, and in Chris's spirit, because Chris is not here, I'm always going to run that banner. So yeah, so we're gonna. I don't know where this talk show is going to go. Because I was one of the ones beating that horse drum for a while, as Matt is aware. Like, we should do something, and finally, he did the research on this, like this system, SteamYard. I don't know how this shit works. And it had to be something simple. If he knew he could do it, I could do it. That's our freaking level of technology for me and Matt. Because I can do
I'll take that
PowerPoint
as
as
a
well.
compliment.
It is a compliment. Because Nathan comes in and it's like, "Oh, you do this and mix sound," and I take reeds and blow them on the wind and create an alien sound. And we're like, "Screw you, Nathan." So, but Nathan does. You may not be aware of this. Nathan, he'll be on later, but people of all sorts of podcasts have reached out to him for sound advice, because he's that good at it. But anywho, on to our topic, which is...
So I guess one of the topics that say is one of our jokes and kind of running gags, clearly, with the name of our show, is that we're older, right? But if one of the things is how do you, we talked about, a lot of us have, some of us have kids, some of us don't. And those of us that do, I think most of us, our kids, for the most part, have in some level of enthusiasm sort of picked up role playing as well. Our kids are, we have people who are young parents and people who are old parents like myself who still have younger kids. So I thought, at least from, and there's a lot out there online. There's tons of stuff that we're not going to cover. But I was basically just going to kind of focus on sort of this topic of kid-friendly RPGs. How do you introduce your kids? What's different about like running, for kids than for adults, if there is any difference. And then just kind of in this sort of our experience, kind of this was happening for me around the same time that I kind of discovered, podcasts, and this was all around the beginning of COVID, where this really kind of kicked off. So just going to share some of that stuff. If anybody is watching and they've got other systems they've played, other locations or services where they've been able to find sort of good age appropriate mechanisms to get your kids to play online, right? Because that can be difficult to try to find a place that's safe or that you trust, especially a younger kid, to be able to play, hopefully with peers. So I'll just kind of go through, and if you don't mind, I'm going to run some slides. We'll talk through this kind of here.
Okay. Yep. Oh, God damn you! You did a PowerPoint.
I know, PowerPoint, right? Maybe
I thought that was just me. So let me say this before we get started.
Sure.
Mask I'm wearing, that's me in there. So Matt at a Geek Weekend provided these. Basically, they're government like survival masks for a nuclear, biological, or chemical attack. There's a forced air that's battery powered, pumps air in there, it filters the air, and all that jazz. So I had it in my garage, and I said I was going to throw it out. I said, "Well, I got to try it on." So the damn thing worked. So I put it on. It inflated, and that's what it looks like. It's like it's like you're sticking your head like in this freaking like seal, and it pushed it through. So that's what I'm wearing, and the thing stayed on for 2 hours. It's supposed to go for 30 minutes. So that's that weird helmet. I didn't get abducted or nothing. So anyway, go ahead, Matt.
You should have just told them that it's an all-body condom.
It's all body condom. It's my COVID condom. I had sex with that. That's what I did. That's how I made love to the wife. Everything stayed internal. I wore that for 2 years. It got really messy. I'm just gonna say.
There you go. All right. Well, so the game that I'm going to talk about, like I said, there's probably others. Is one that I thought was really well done, super easy to learn, and that's a game called Hero Kids. And this is by Justin Halliday, and this is it's one as kind of
Hey Matt, should I let Nathan on? Should I let Nathan on?
Let him in.
Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
I'm good.
Welcome.
You're
Thank
just
you.
in time for the PowerPoint.
He put a PowerPoint up. He snuck it in. He snuck a PowerPoint in.
It's sneaking it. Just use
I know, right?
everything.
He had it up. I thought it was a thing, and it's like, no, it's a PowerPoint. Like, you fucking douchebag. And it's all about kids, too, so we can't kill them over it. Oh.
All right.
Hey,
looks like,
Darcy's here.
Hey. Hello, Darcy. How's it going?
Hello, Darcy. Go ahead, Matt, on your explanation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Dark City. It would be.
Was it the tuning?
Yes, the tuning.
The tuning, yeah.
Shut it down. That came out right before The Matrix, and I remember that being like awesome.
It's a great movie. It's an absolutely great
Oh
film.
yeah, it was really good. It's trippy.
I think we all went and saw it together.
I know.
We all saw it together.
Did
You know
we?
that, right? Yeah, we did. We were talking about a PG where we went and saw it.
Oh really?
Yeah, we saw it together. I remember
We
that.
saw Pumpkinhead together.
We saw a lot of dumb
Tell
movies
that
together.
story.
We saw Army of Darkness together. Me, Greg, and I think Matt saw Army of Darkness.
Like the new one, right? Not the first
And
one.
and the first, no, yeah, the Medieval Dead, and we also saw the Kentucky Fried Movie. No, not that one. Fuck, the black exploitation one. That was
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I'm gonna get you,
yeah,
sucker.
Yeah,
We were the only white
yeah.
guys in there, and we had a
I was
blast.
there. That was
That was
a
awesome.
good movie.
Beltway Plaza. Yeah, no, we yeah. Well, that's the story about Pumpkinhead is it's got to stay behind a paywall. That movie. But I will tell
Well,
you,
what about Denny's?
we filled an entire row of that theater.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
remember
hey,
Denny's? We
how's
got
it
kicked
going?
out of Denny's for the
Which time?
Well, the guy like permanently, the guy accused us of pushing the cake, like ordering cake and putting it like slamming it underneath the tables. Do you remember
I
that?
mean,
Yeah,
we
they didn't want us
probably
there anymore.
did that.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. They didn't want us there anymore. They got tired of us. They just wanted us out.
And we spent money.
They were just lewd. They were just douches. I'm
Oh,
sorry, I was going to say it.
Nathan, all you missed was that we were just kind of rambling on about.
Yeah, we were
thank you
finishing this
folks.
PowerPoint. This is the last slide.
Well, this is only This is only the
It's the first of 50. Okay.
first of 50. It's a good,
Only
it's a good
50.
one.
That's a light PowerPoint for Matt.
It is. Well, I'm not topping it off with some pivot tables and some
All
other
right. All right. You know what?
synergistic,
Oh, what were we doing? Yes. Okay. Let's get back to the podcast. So go ahead, Matt. Back to your
Hero Kids.
soliloquy.
So back to Hero Kids. Like I said, there's probably tons of other games. Like I know I haven't played, but I want to play Kids on Bikes, right? I found this game Hero Kids. Like I said, it's by Justin Halliday, and the artwork is all done by a person named Eric Quigley. They won the Silver Ennie in 2013 for Best Family Game. And so I just happened to stumble on this. I think I was looking for something that for my youngest to be able to learn and play, because D&D still I thought was too complicated for him at this point. 4 years ago. And so it's kind of the themes with this and it's kind of nice. It's definitely written, for kids' enjoys. It's kind of like all the problems are caused kind of adults are at fault, right? That's probably not untrue in the real world, but and then kids have to fix it, right? So the kids are the heroes. It's the old wizard who unleashes the zombies, or it's the whatever. It's kind of, that's one of the sort of bleeds in the dark, right? Well, the murder probably, well, teens probably my daughter's group, they're a bunch of murder hobos. And sort of like the game is set, so the entire setting is kind of around, which I kind of think is funny. It reminds me of like a kid's version of the Misty Vale from Dragonbane, is this Brecken Vale. It's kind of like your hometown. It's where everything kind of starts at, and that's where sort of it's isolated. And that's kind of where all of these adventures sort of take place. But that was kind of a cool theme. So right off the bat, it's the kids that have to fix the world. And I want to. So it's a very simple game to learn, but it's not that it means that your game has to be simple, right? So they talk about the way you should learn the game is to play a skirmish, right? Pick a character, pick a monster, fight it out, right? Learn how to roll the dice, learn how the mechanics work. But you can have, and they've got tons of them out there. There's all kinds of adventures, dungeon delves. There are rules for like advancement and stuff like that. So there's ways that you can grow, and you can make the game kind of as large and as complicated as you wanted. So if you wanted to have a recurring session or run like a mini campaign, it supports that.
So what did we start Olivia with? Was that Warhammer 40K?
Oh, God.
So yeah, for Olivia, which is we started with Dark Heresy.
Yeah,
No wonder that poor girl, man.
The kid friendly, where everybody starts in a chaos like torture chamber or something like that, right? So
she's fine.
yes.
She turned out fine.
Yeah, sure she did. Yeah, sure.
Again, I don't think she was like 4 or 5 or so. Well, I don't. She was older, but yeah, we scar our children. And so the basic mechanics of the game. So I had to really wrestle between like not having too many screenshots of the book, because it's like, well, I don't want to just like. So basically, it's Risk. So if you have played Risk, the basic mechanics of Hero Kids, except there's one small twist, right? So in Risk, it's basically a D6 system, and you might have an ability where you have like 3 dice pool, like a 3 dice pool for melee attacks. You'll roll 3 6-sided dice. If I'm attacking Nathan and he's got 2 dice in shields, he rolls 2 dice. The only difference from Risk is that tie goes to the attacker, right? And that's the big difference, because in Risk, the tie goes to the defender, right? So if I'm swinging at somebody and I roll a 6, the good news is I know I'm going to get one success, right? And basically, you throw all your dice, and if you have the higher number, you succeed, whoever gets the higher number, right? So it's a very simple system to learn, and that's really it. That's like 80% of the mechanics for the entire game, right? Just like some of the games we play in Free League and some other systems we've played, there's things like skills. There are pieces of equipment that can add dice, right? So you might have 2 dice, but if you use a sword, it gives you an extra die. So again, there's a little bit extra. Every character's got like a special ability. That's the basic die. Go after Kamchaka. All right.
Well,
Sorry, little Risk humor in there.
For those
So
that know,
Risk is another great game to introduce your kids to gaming. If you all hate each other and you want to be angry for stabbing each other in the back, it's like Monopoly. I don't know how many nights we would all, like the family, would be angry at each other playing those old board games. But so this is what your character sheet looks like, right? So it's a hero card. And they kind of have little archetypes, right? And you can kind of see the concept, right? So you have a sword, that's melee attack. Bow is ranged attack. The little ball of fire or whatever it is, that's magic attack. The shield is your defense. Every character basically has like 3 hit points. It's kind of like a, what do you call it? What is it?
somebody else typed that.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's Matt's account, so it must have been Matt who typed that.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Right. All the heroes basically have like 3 hit point stages, right? Kind of like Savage Worlds. Oh my gosh. And then over on the right, you can see that they have like a melee attack ability, a special whirlwind attack, and then a bonus ability, teamwork, right? So like when you're attacking someone who somebody else is attacking, you get an extra die. So you'd roll 3 dice instead of that. So, and then your inventory is just this kind of little icon inventory. And again, I don't have all of these. I don't have screenshots, but these little potion bottles are healing potions, which are very important. You've got food, and I honestly do not know what the little feet are. Oh, I don't know if it means a pet or not. It might be something else. Now, they do have pets as an expansion. So there's, like I said, there's tons of expansions for this. One of them is pets that does allow you to have a sort of a pet, like my barbarian, I think, had like a pet pig or something like that. And so this is an example. This is like, they have equipment cards, right? So when you KO an enemy in a melee attack, you can immediately make another melee attack, right? And you can only have one piece of equipment at a time, right?
Finish them off, the coup de grace.
That's right. Kids gotta know. If you beat one down, you keep beating them down, right?
Jesus.
Make sure they're dead.
Make sure,
Jesus Christ.
make
What
sure
type
they're
of
good
freaking bastard? You're evil, bad. Where these kids are so messed up. School
Well,
violence.
right,
This
so-
causes school
so-
violence.
Hack up your
There's
bodies and display them so
I
your
know.
enemies know not to trespass on your territory.
When you fight them, make sure it's the last fight you'll have with them. Like, what? Oh, my God.
I saw a meme today on Twitter, or it was like somebody like what can burn in a dungeon for like 3 hours straight or whatever, and like the person answering is like a family of goblins. Like,
Their oily skin is like wax.
I don't know. It was out there. It was awful. So you mentioned that. Okay, so there's like defeating, but for the players, there's no death, right? I think I've heard that's the same in Kids with Bikes, right? Like in some of these
Probably.
games. So you have basically, you could be okay, bruised, hurt, and then KO'd, right? So you're never dead. So you don't have dying, and you can be healed. Like, so from the previous slide with the potions, you can have a magic potion. It can be one of yours. It can be one of your party members. There are characters that can heal with magic, and then if you win the battle and you have a chance to rest, you heal, right? So that's really good for, again, I think for younger characters who maybe aren't like, and I'm talking younger players, not quite ready for their character to be like murdered, killed by an orc or something. Right? The book also contains some hints and tips for playing with kids. I included a few. He's got like a really long list, but some of these are I thought were pretty good, right? So, and earlier I said, is how different is it running little kids versus adults, and you can clearly see that there's this is the wrong crowd.
You opened yourself up to it.
I know. Well, a lot of this can, you could probably apply this to adults too, right? So being patient, being funny, getting people involved, let them have fun with their characters, and I would say that fourth one down here, encourage improvisation, right? So, TTRPGs.
So you like disagree with all this, Matt, right? Like this is like completely different from the way you run your games.
Yeah, pretty much.
No,
pretty much.
I've gotten a lot better. I haven't gotten to the hit and tip where it says railroad the shit out of your kids, right? Railroad that adventure.
Railroad the shit out of your characters.
They deviate from the line.
That's right. Got to teach them that shit doesn't work in the real world, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to give you a hard time.
You should.
You do. I know.
This has already gone over way to time limit, by the way, Matt. You got to fucking rein this in.
All right. So we're getting close. This is just a couple examples.
The slide counter's at 30. What are you talking about? No, I'm sorry, it's 13. Go ahead.
So this is a couple monster cards. Most monsters have a single hit and they're out. So like this giant rat, right? And then you have some toughers and there are bosses. There is a whole compendium, a monster manual that they've done. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff you can add on. So that's basically just a quick example of those. Hero Forge is the which I don't be confused with the minis thing, but so you could get all this stuff on TTRPG. I think if you go directly, but these are some of the other games that they have. I think the ones on the left are not as young kid friendly.
What, you mean The Road to Ruin?
Right. I haven't played any of those. But on the right, you can see that there's there's 4 of the books for the hero kids. And there's what's cool and I actually have is there's a space one also, right? The space like Space Kids. And it's got, it's same mechanics, but you've got, different kinds of characters. So if your kids like sci-fi, you can use the same game system and have sci-fi adventures as well.
We should write around and call it "You Are an Orphan" or something like that.
Oh, yes, Orphan Travels. That's it. You start on, or the other one, Hobo Life. Hobo Life.
Hobo kids.
Hobo kids. Hobo kids. Can you jump on a train? Roll your D20. Oh, Johnny got run over by the train. Make a new character.
My character has an extra cup of soup. No, I don't know.
Yeah, he has an extra hot dog.
I have 2 shoes. All right. Now that we've made fun of children for the last minute. All right.
I like this where this is going. Keep going.
I know. Okay, so now it gets really weird.
What?
What is this?
I know. This is not an advertisement. Please don't everyone go running to the hills. All right. So one of the other challenges you might have with young kids learning to play
He's rubbing his head. I can see that look on his face.
I know. Look, just please bear with me. Please.
Thursday nights are all you, Matt.
Wait, I'm a piece of this too. I didn't know it was coming. I was the one pushing for this, Nathan.
One of the challenges that I had with my oldest when she was a lot younger is trying to find a game to play online. And how do you regulate that? How do you find an age appropriate sort of group, right? So I did one of those like community D&D pay to play. And it was fine. We had a good time, but I could tell the entire time that we were playing with adults and they were all like watching themselves and good behavior because my daughter was playing, right? And I was kind of like, this is kind of weird. And so, again, during the pandemic, trying to teach the kids, how do you find people to play? We do not. Our kids go to public school. I don't have anything against. Again, not judgmental. Anyone who. So what? We all got kids got sent home from school. Got sent home from work. We were trying to figure out what to do. We stumbled upon a place called Outschool. There's other places. Again, this is not an advertisement. But what was nice about Outschool is primarily probably for families that do homeschool, right? But in addition,
we're talking about homeschooling now.
I'm not talking about homeschool, but what I'm saying is that this site, they've been up and doing that kind of stuff. So they unlike a lot of people that were scrambling in the pandemic to figure out how do you do this, and so there's a lot of D&D and non-school curriculum stuff that they offer. And what's nice is it's segmented out in age groups. So again, I know everyone's laughing. If you're looking for a place where, if you don't mind paying, right, you can run yourself, but if you want them to play with peers and they don't have the opportunity to play in person, right? And sometimes, like I said, with my daughter who's older, she's in a D&D group, right? And they play after school. Sometimes they play during the, right? That's fine. When they're younger, they might not. So again, not an endorsement. I'm just saying that we used that type of thing to be able to connect with age similar kids. Gosh, you guys are so judgy. I can see it on your face.
So first, I just would like to say when I envisioned this, I did not envision a PowerPoint to ever show up on this channel. I want to apologize to our people right now. No, but on a serious note, so I have a serious background in law enforcement. One of the big pieces of training I had was in human trafficking with children. And they use digital media systems. So there's something to what Matt said at the end, all kidding aside. With your children, be very mindful of what they're doing and what groups, because these people are creative. It's much bigger than you think it is. And they get in these arenas where you think they're going to be safe. So, my child's going to be 13 and he's only on Discord, which you think is safe, but it is not. So he's only on with a server with his friends. So I'm going to leave it at that because
it's not allowed on our channel.
Yeah. So, we are the only ones molesting each other, and that's how it's supposed to go.
Age appropriate molestation.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool, Orchestra.
Mostly consensual.
Yeah,
but whatever. Well, it also depends on the community you live in, too, right? So some communities are better than others. I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
so
yeah, I know in New York, they've got a couple places. I noticed a lot of the game stores.
Yeah.
They're super smart. They've
yes,
just
they
like
are.
The martial arts places decided to start doing after school. There are game stores that have after school programs. The kids will go from the school to the game store for an after school, and they're supervised. They're in the store, and it's either board games, role playing games,
or Magic the Gathering or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of Magic the Gathering. Yep. So there's a lot of different ways to, try to find supervised and sort of peer groups that they can start playing.
And so really, when it comes to your kids, also your kids' maturity level. And what they can handle, what they can't. So really, at the end of the day, and you'll see that some kids are much more. My son ran a game, like his first game on his birthday, and he had his friends over, and it degenerated into them trying to stuff each other into a bag of holding. And my son's just like, "This isn't what I want," and I'm like, because he had a bigger ideal of how it should be played. Plus, he watched me play it all the time. He'd come in and see me while I was playing online with these guys, even before we started going live. So really, you got to just look at it and see it. You got to be comfortable with it, and they got to be comfortable with it. So, especially anything online, you can be screwed. You can be messed with in person just the same as online. It's just, as a parent, you're not paying attention as well. Because you just aren't. It's somebody, they're on a headset, right? So just think about it. Now, when it comes to gaming, let's get on a more light topic. Thank you, Matt, for taking us down the rabbit hole there. I should blame Nathan because this never happened until Nathan got on. But Nathan, I think you were like the first. Weren't you the first one to ever run D&D? Because your kids are older. Was it you that played D&D if their kids first, or? games, or was it Matt?
Well, I mean, Jeremy's not technically in our podcast, but probably I'm sure Jeremy.
Yeah, it would have been Jeremy. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I really didn't push it on him, and I think my son's dabbled. Olivia no longer has any interest. I mean, she had fun when she played, but she is just not in her wheelhouse. So that's fine. And like Gabe, I know, tried to get stuff going when he was in high school, and he just now, I gave him my old first edition Pathfinder book because he's in a first edition Pathfinder game now. Not sure how it's going. It's I think it's having like a mixed reaction with that, but yeah. So he's like in his late 20s, and is he likes all kinds of games. He's really super hard into board games, more than RPGs.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, so
There's some good ones out there. I like some.
Yeah. So he's brought some lighter stuff, kind of easier to set up games for us to play, and he's gotten me a couple of games, but it's getting my family to sit down for like a 3 or 4 hour board game is like is pretty much next to impossible. So
where did that come from? What games do you suggest for younger players? I didn't even see that pop up. Oh, you just threw it up there.
Yeah.
Oh, you made a banner. Okay.
Too many cooks in the kitchen here.
Yeah.
I know he made a banner. You freaking delete that.
Well,
So-
you mentioned that like 3 to 4 hours. That is one of the things that can be tough with like just like even board games. Like we'll play like shorter board games, but if I try to reach for like terraforming Mars or something, everybody goes running to the hills.
Nobody wants that.
No, we did toy with the idea of like playing, because you can play online. You can play like some of the what was that one game? We talked about playing it live too one night. Like when we started.
Mothership.
Yeah, Mothership. Yeah. You know what? You know when Ben's on, I'm just going to pull up Mothership and we're going to start playing it when we interview him. It's like here's your character. Not shoot. I forgot what it was. Talisman. It may have been Talisman. But you can play it online, and we had talked about one night with just going live and playing it online because there's you can play it off
do
Steam.
One of those Jackbox games. I think we would have.
We've done Jackbox is good.
What's
You
Jackbox?
don't know what Jackbox? I have the
you
Jackbox
don't know Jack?
game.
I know what a Jackbox is, but what
You're a
do you
fucking
guys
moron.
You're a Jackbox.
You're such an asshole. You know what Jackbox is? You can get it on Steam. You play every other fucking Steam game. Matt, this is bad, by the way, guys. No, let me say this.
The thing that Chris
Matt,
showed us at his house.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trivia
Matt's
game.
like, Sean, let's play 7 Days to Die. I'm like, I don't have my overnight, Matt's on a different schedule to me. Like, oh, we can play all night. It's like, I got to work in the morning. For once, I have a normal job. You want me to stay up all night playing, getting chased by zombies, which sounds appealing. Trust me, I like killing zombies, but
Do you ever see your wife and kids? When do you
who are these children you speak of? What's this? Shoot, I'm late for Traveler. A couple of suggestions for kids. Very young. No thank you, evil. Slightly
I heard
older.
about that. Yeah.
Mouse Ritter and Catch You Later. Oh, it's Catch You Later. Enjoy your Traveler game.
Oh, very cool. Don't die in character creation.
Yeah, don't die in character creation. So I think, I mean,
I've heard no thank you,
so my son, and when he's playing, I did find it useful, the D&D Beyond. I don't know how much more useful it's going to be now, because that was going to be part of this. I know Nathan's just like F that, but
Yeah, I am not
But
affected by it because I haven't played D&D in forever.
I know,
have
but
no
my
plans
son
to.
does. But my son does. So now I'm sort of married to it as long as he is for him, like keeping my account open. So there's like a lot of misinformation about shortly, like you couldn't use 5e and they were going to convert your characters over to their system. But it turns out that's not necessarily.
they
ahead.
walked back a lot of stuff too. So they got
Yeah, like they always start. I think they want to push everybody into their new system, but there's so much revolt, they back off. Because I bought all that. We bought all that content, and then it's like gone. Like we can't ever really use it.
yeah. Well, it was supposed. Yeah, there was some miscommunication. It was poorly handled. Oh, sorry about that. It was poorly handled on their part.
Yeah.
And, that's with a lot of these companies. It's uh, maybe run by
Oh, that
people
looks
that,
cool.
that aren't awesome at communication, and
Yeah.
they are their own worst enemy. So
Yeah, it puts a sour taste in your mouth. But a lot of people do run to D&D because it has that. It's very easy to create your character, and it's it has a lot of useful tools. But it's something to consider when you get a game system. The freaking guy might want to. Was it? I used a line like I said it. We were playing on Tuesday. I go, everybody wants to build a better boat, but the boat you have works fine. So that's all about making money sometimes, and maybe it will be better. I don't know. Probably never going to play it. But Mouse Ritter here looks interesting. Take up a sword and don the whiskers of a brave mouse. Adventure in Mouse Ritter and rules of flight fantasy adventure and role playing game. Oh, okay. Sort of maybe like a Watership Dance. No, not like that.
No, more like what was that other?
What's that other game?
Redwall. Redwall.
Redwall.
That story, Redwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But I can't tell from this. Is it meant to be? I guess it's fantasy. Is it modern though?
I don't know. It looks like he has like a sword in his back of it or a stick in the back of his pack. Either way, it's an adventuring game. Yeah, which would be like swords for the mice.
Yeah, for them. Yeah.
I wonder if they got a cat. I have you, Mr. Whiskers. We're going to wear your skin and my flesh. Oh, this turned into Hell Rider.
Everything we do turns into like it's awful.
I just want to say that the guy you're talking about, Joe, the actor who has the D&D and stuff, the one we wanted to get in contact with, Joe
Manganiello. I can't say his last name.
Manganiello. He was at Children's today. He was at my hospital.
Oh,
Saw him.
really?
Was 50 feet from him. I could have talked to him about the
You
podcast.
should have thrown an AARPG thing at him.
I mean, you really just have to like talk to Jody, because Jody has like been at his table.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
can't
fine.
just walk up and talk to him like that. And it's like, hey, I know you're here to see sick
You guys
kids.
can talk to Jody though,
Yeah.
and have him talk to him.
Yeah.
Jody out of spite hardly wouldn't do it. I could have helped you guys become famous, but I hate you.
Yeah.
He really liked Sean's character, but I told him that he said he didn't like him on what is it? One of the other random other vampire show, just not True Blood. Yeah, I liked you in Vampire Diaries. What? Yeah. Oh, sound effects. Speaking of which,
Oh, you could hear that? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I knew who that came from. That's very Darcy.
Oh my gosh.
Daddy, I want to wear his skin. Oh my God, I have a Dexter.
Darcy's our people.
Yes, evil doesn't stand a chance. Oh my God, you're using like small lizards as weapons. Jesus.
There's some kind of like
This I can get into.
into.
Oh my God. And even the guy, the little kid, looks like has the evilest fucking face, like a sociopath.
I'm glad you see that, Adam.
I can read the darkness in his eyes. Oh, this one, she looks even worse. She looks like she's gonna freaking gut you. That's not a sweet owl cat. That's something else. This guy's killing a innocent dragon. That's a marshmallow. Holy crap! All right, I got it.
Yeah, it's s'more. It's a s'more dragon.
Oh, it's pretty wild. For young kids like preteens, like a young like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, that would probably be.
This definitely sounds more rules light and more sort of improv, imagination storytelling, which could be kind of cool for kids who aren't as into like don't want to learn a bunch of rules, but might have fun in sort of like cooperative storytelling. It's interesting.
No, it is interesting. It is interesting. Now, there comes that point where the kids want to play I don't know, they cross the line. They want to get more hardcore. When they get, was it what's that D&D?
12.
No, the D&D game that just came out, Baldur's Gate. They want to do Baldur's Gate. I want to have sex with a bear. What? Jesus, what is wrong with you?
Well, I did have to caveat when I ran for my daughter's group. I had to say right off the bat, I had to say, okay, I don't care what you guys do in your game, when you guys play at school or at your house, whatever. I said, but while I'm running, no alcohol, no drugs, no sex. So like the tavern that I had them start their adventure. Well, I'm an adult. I am not running other people's children. So
what the hell's wrong with you to say that to children? These are 7-year-olds. What's wrong with you?
Like 14.
No, absolutely
no sex, no alcohol, no pot. Like, why the fuck were you raised over in fucking Lanham? God damn. Jesus, I thought I was fucked up. I waited until at least I was 9 when I did that, but you were at 7.
Those intimate scenes were going to fade to black, all right? The hard line, like across the line.
Boo, boo. This didn't happen.
Oh, you guys are terrible.
I don't understand how I had artwork for this show, and you guys were like, nope, don't do that. I don't think you should do that.
Man, I was kidding, and I said it was okay. And
you guys are like the worst human beings.
So the thing is, the original artwork had like a small kids bus, free candy, and we put it out and put dice on it. And people were like, oh my God. I said, yeah, I want to keep my job. Then I said, no, go ahead and do it. But by then he put it up.
It's a white abductor van. It wasn't a school bus. It was an abductor van. And it was like
abductor's a harsh term.
That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was
there it is.
There it is. You freaking hypocrites.
playing with kids, but having TTRPGs in the bracket.
That's what did it. That was the line.
And made that weird mask.
You just like made it like you just put it over the line. It's like who wants to click on that? Who wants to click on that?
Look at that. Darcy's
look
nice.
Nice.
The original.
There we go. See, nice. See, Darcy gets it.
I don't understand why you don't think that we have not cultivated a degenerate following.
Nathan, you love Pink Frohawk, and they go so farther than us.
Right? Why would they be better than us?
But there's certain things like kids stuff and like Holocaust. Those are like 2 areas we should probably.
I never spoke about the Holocaust.
What? Trains run on time in our like first episode.
What do you mean the Dwarven solution I came up with?
No. Well, that was much later on. But our first Twilight 2000 episode, you made like a when
it wasn't meant to,
Mussolini.
He made the trains run on time.
Yeah.
But that was Mussolini wasn't like a Nazi. He was just a fascist.
Yeah, so you kind of mixed the metaphors there. You're making a Hitler joke when we were talking about Mussolini, so
you were
totally inappropriate.
Well, remember who made the Hitler joke? It wasn't me. I'm just saying. I just edited
that out.
So the funny thing, guys, is that Matt and Nathan have different things they trigger on.
Yeah,
and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because like Nathan's sometimes on my side, like I like this, and Matt's like, no. Then other times, like Matt's on my side, and Nathan's like, why did you say, Sean? Why? It was so good. Now I gotta edit this, and I'm like, I didn't think it was that bad.
So I don't mind. Like we do some pretty rough humor, right? But I think that there's, and I don't know about other folks. I just know I am exposed to a lot of the real world all day long.
Oh, I know.
And
I used to be.
I am not interested in when I go to listen to one of these podcasts or TTRPG. That's all I want, right? I just want to be like Calgon, take me away, right? So that's one of the things for me is like.
Want to make like a Ted Cruz joke or something?
Yes.
Oh. Well, the funny thing is,
look, I don't know how many Mitch McConnell bits we have.
Those
are
so funny.
They were funny. They were funny as shit.
That shit all stayed in.
It did. We didn't hear it for 6 months. And remember the one we said, this will
There's
be
stuff
funny
that
6
I
months from
marked that you
now.
just leave in.
And Nathan
Oh,
left it
yeah.
in. And Nathan left it in. And then the joke came out and said, this will be funny 6 months from now. And I just died. I almost wrecked my car. I was like, oh.
I try.
50% of the stuff that you say take out, I leave in.
Okay.
So,
And vice
so
versa.
I'm the last to touch it. I get to make the call.
That's what he said.
Now, my thing is big. I'm usually pretty hard on you guys on the politics. Like, no, absolutely not. Mitch McConnell was funny, though. And Ted Cruz, because they're such idiots.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till this election's over.
Yeah. Oh, me neither. I just don't. I don't care
no, don't
about
do it,
pissing
don't
those
do it.
people off.
What?
But
No. It's crazy train right now. I mean, it's just so. It's like it's so. The truth, the strange. We couldn't make anything funnier than what's going on in the media right now.
Bizarre. It's bizarre.
You know, so it's like Mitch McConnell is tame. I'll just say that.
I'd really,
what's going on now?
How's
Yeah.
that toast smelling there, Mitch? I mean,
I smell toast. Yeah, like, oh my god.
And I could joke about that because there's strokes running my family, and I'll probably smell toast live on the podcast one of these days.
Yeah,
Um,
I could joke around because I've had head trauma. So, and who are you? Oh, just here we go. But anyway, back. So
now you're doing Tier's character.
yeah, Tier's
what are we-
character.
what are we
That's
doing?
not his character. That's really him. Yeah, I'm surprised.
So, like, sometimes we kind of get a little bit misogynist sometimes. And that kind of like makes me winch a little bit. I think that's we lost Olivia as a listener at some point.
She didn't start listening to us during the sex, drugs, and saving throws thing because
That's probably where we
that's
lost
probably
her.
not a good place.
No, I
start.
talked to Libby. She still listens to us.
No, I don't think so. She
No,
listens
I
to-
just saw her a little while ago. I'm telling you, she still listens to us occasionally.
Well, I mean, maybe occasionally, but Alien, Twilight 2000, but the sex drugs was hard for her.
But it was supposed to be freaking. It's a comedy, and you got to get that.
Yeah,
You got to
it's-
get that. We talk about like the band. We can't please everybody. So when we go into it, guys, we're playing an '80s rock
Be
band.
happy
It's
to
going to
please
sound.
anybody.
I know.
And then I don't want to filter you guys. I don't want to stop you. I don't want you guys to when I'm editing it. I may make a decision, but to leave something in and take something out. But when we're playing, I don't want you guys to like worry about that shit. So because we find these amazing gems of improv that just comes out of just this race to the bottom. That we do
God.
when we start joking with each other.
I know, and most of it's a reflection on our poor character's character. You know,
Yeah,
that's-
those characters were the worst people. They're not heroes.
not Hilgrim. Hilgrim's actually trying to be a good guy. I think he's
Yeah,
a
for the
stupid.
most part.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah,
I
except for
didn't. I got to learn how to read.
except for the fat shamey stuff, but that's he wasn't too bad.
I know. I did.
was
He
the
had to
best.
slip.
He was the
You did
best of the
shame
worst.
the guy for having ass worms.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, I'm not trying to fat shame you, but I'm going to fat shame you. No, just But anyway, besides trying to figure out your audience, that's another podcast. That's or your audience figuring you out. It's So we talked about kids and the type of games kids. We've talked about a little bit of outlining. And really, there's not much more to add to it unless you guys can think something. I think Matt, you laid out a good
Yeah,
good
definitely.
groundwork.
After, if folks are watching this later, if you've got other systems and stuff, and I think maybe after it's posted and we can put links, I might go back and throw in these two that Orcus Dorcas suggested to us because there's probably a lot of them out there, and folks have had different experiences with both game systems. And with like how to help their kids connect and get with groups and stuff like that.
And I think a lot of too. So there's these systems made for kids, but we like I don't know when you probably guys started about the same time I did. I started, I guess, when I was 12, and but probably didn't. We played D&D and Boot Hill and
Boot
Star
Hill,
Frontiers, and we probably didn't understand the rules. I'm sure we got all the most of the rules wrong, but we had a blast. So uh, yeah, I think there's definitely a place for stuff built for like kids that are younger than that. But I think once you get like 10, 11, 12, you can kind of just spitball a game and like there's that video that's gone viral of uh, the the woman from Daredevil who's a GM. She's done some actual play stuff. What's her name? She was like on the podcast and she just basically was talking about D&D and said, "Hey, we'll just play right now."
Oh, she was in True Blood. She was in True
Oh,
Yeah,
Blood. She's
what's
playing
her
with
name?
right. The guy who's in Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Who just played Punisher TV.
Yeah,
series.
on his
I can't remember
podcast,
the
and
actor's name.
so you could
she just gets into it. Very good.
Yeah, it was perfect. He bought into it right away, and kids like they love pretend. So I don't think you have to necessarily go out and if you have a game there and you say you own D&D, I don't think you have to go out and buy something else. You can just start it with whatever you have. Maybe not Alien, um, but
Yeah.
but I'm sure you have whatever you have
Mork
is good. And just
kids.
No.
the system wise, I think that would be super
It's
easy. to pick up.
easy.
You just say, instead of cursed skinwalker, you call it something else. Like
A potato skin. There we go.
potato skinwalker.
Yeah, potato skin walker.
That makes
The sour cream bandit. There we go.
There-
Matt, don't you fucking dare take it down the road.
Well, so you mentioned that because so we did that. So the Hero Kids definitely was for like when my son was really. So I did introduce him to D&D. I think he was like 10, and he was able to do it. So yeah, I think 10, 11, 12. You could pick up 5e. You could pick up You could pick up a lot of systems. Like you said, getting it wrong. I always joke when we first started playing, we thought the hit dice were hit points. So we had like first level characters that killed a purple worm because it had 15 hit dice, right?
Yes.
So I mean, you're right. We got it wrong, but we had a great time getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, the first earlier editions of D&D, they were pretty simple. You could play them as a young kid because they were simple and they gave you the modules and it wasn't that hard.
I guess
I thought
I'm not afraid of Thaco. Right? I
Yeah,
see all
because-
this stuff about Thaco's like hard. I'm like, was it? Thaco was fine. If you like your hit chart,
I mean,
giant,
yeah.
giant table cross referencing here.
And this is what led you down the path to PowerPoint, Matt. This is what the Thaco table. Now we know, Nathan. Now we know.
That's the
We could do an intervention. We could do an intervention on Geek Week.
I need to come up with a good was that anagram for Thaco, something cool.
No.
So what are we playing besides James's Pathfinder game at Geek Weekend?
So it sounds
Matt,
like
go ahead, Tim. Walking Dead with Tim, I thought. We still doing that?
Tim is gonna introduce us to the new free leagues, Walking Dead. He's been reading up on it.
Tyr had something he wanted to
I
do
think
too.
the idea is that because Tim has kind of told us many times that The Walking Dead seems to him like it's more of a long-term kind of game.
Yeah.
But this will be an introduction to us. We've never played it, and so if we really like it, that might be something we revisit. In a longer term. Friday night, I'm running Zombie World, that card game from
Okay,
Magpie
cool,
that
yeah.
we played.
Yeah.
So Nathan and I had a blast. That's a really fun game. I think we showed it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you did.
Gen Con. But I'll show it again real quick. We discovered I'd never heard of Magpie before. We played 2 of their games while we were there. I can't. What's the other one? Something Shadow Streets or something.
Ooh, yeah, I can't remember.
I know it had like a lot of World of Darkness vibes, but both the games were really cool. And I guess there's also a game that's like Zombie World where it's pirates. So you play like a group of pirates and all that stuff. So, yes. And of course James is running Pathfinder 2e.
So I'm talking to Matt because I never get to talk to Matt, but I sent a note to Limithron, Luke, the pirate board guy. So we're going to try and get him on to talk about
Okay.
their new Kickstarter, and they're going to have a pirate
Okay,
board
that's
starter
good.
set. It's pretty cool.
Okay, good, good. So as you all see, we're trying to develop this talk show of ours, so we get guests on and get topics and come up with stuff besides our misadventures and editing of our games, which and messing kids' heads up by running games wrong, apparently.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're running down to our last couple minutes here. And I wanted to, Nathan, is there anything you wanted to talk about upcoming or plug our next, what's our next game after Dragonbane?
So I hope to run Twilight 2000, the return
There we
to Always Cloudy in Kalish. It's going to be called, what was it?
You told us.
I did. Hold on a second. I've got a name for it. I've got like the story kind of mapped out. Not the story. The plot points kind of mapped out. Farewell Transmission is going to be what I'm going to
Okay.
call it.
So look forward to that.
Yeah, and I'm basing it on a song by Jason
Mariam?
Molina.
Okay, different.
And it's going to feature most of the original characters with a couple of new characters,
Some flashbacks.
some flashbacks. So folks that need a little bit of a Blanco Fantasma hit, we'll get a little bit of that. So
Hello, I'm Blanco Fantasma. Isabel, you've never seen the beauty of her bosom. Axel.
yeah, so but that's, you're not going to hear that for a long time unless we figure out some other
Way
way
to cut back Dragonbane in half or pause, right?
Yeah, or something. I don't know,
But
unless we do it live, that would be crazy.
that would be interesting. Tony, woo. But you think you have problems with me? But I think if you haven't listened to our Twilight 2000, go back through our records. It's a couple of years actually, and it was one of the first games we ran, and where we actually tried to play. Tried our hands at playing, like at least I did, tried playing a serious character, and it'll give you the background, and it was fun. We had a good time with that system.
Yeah, and it was popular. It was one of
Yeah,
the
it
more
was,
popular. Because I think it was a new. There's a lot of
It's brand
nostalgia
new
around it, surrounding it, and
Yep.
we just hit it right at the right time, and the story was something that the plot line, whatever it was I came up with, was I think it was fairly unique and not. It was dark, super dark, but not completely serious, which is, I guess, explains.
Well, I'll tell you what. That and with Aliens, we had a lot of fun with the Free League games because it gives you a lot of.
Even the first Aliens didn't sound great.
It didn't sound great, but we had fun with it.
We still call back to that. All the time.
And because we took the Aliens game, and we're going over, but this is interesting. The Aliens game, we were given pre-made characters, and we made them our own based on our experience. In the Twilight game, we had a chance to make our characters, and we made them, and we rolled them out, and it was fun, and then we developed them, and we put a lot into them. A lot of the games we play, some of them just by design, you just can't get into too much character development, like Battle Lords, where we just fight.
Yeah,
right? We tried. We had some fun with them, and we tried. And we did pretty good, I thought.
More people should watch the Battle Lords one because there were so many hidden gems.
It was
like Matt's best performance in anything that we've done.
Yes.
With Bubba Fott.
Fott.
Just the random folksy stuff that he'd come up with.
Yeah.
All Billy Bunny wisdom.
Yeah, hillbilly. I dare say. And my character got more and more like Southern lawyer Foghorn Leghorn as the character, because he started off this with an accent, like trying to be a Southern gent, and then all of a sudden he was talking like Fog. Then his uniform became a seersucker suit, and then Tony's character, I will use the power of my mind, and his real voice was, and like, what the fuck was that? But it was a good times.
Good gags in that. So if you haven't listened to that, I would definitely check it out.
So record all our stuff and listen to it on a desert island. That's what I would recommend everybody do.
Download podcasts. So
yeah, just download it and enjoy it. And I think it's 10:03. Matt, you got anything you want to add?
No,
oh, okay, thanks, Matt. We're going to move
so
on
I have
right
my
now.
second PowerPoint.
I'm about to say I'm just going to delete that real quick to save us something. But anyway, on behalf of all of us here at the AARPG, Nathan, who joined us tonight, Matt, who regularly joins me as a co-host, I want to thank you all for joining us, and look forward to seeing if you are. Thank you, Darcy, for joining us once again as a regular, and Orcus Dorcas, and anybody else who was out there silently. I saw we had some listeners here who didn't say anything. I love the spirals your games get into, and that's the stuff that we edit out. Trust me. If you saw the unedited stuff, you'd be like, "Oh wow, these guys are." When we're all independently wealthy, and you don't have to worry about income or reputations. We'll just let it go.
Someday I'll have to publish Halfling Himmler.
Yeah, Halfling Himmler. We'll leave it at that. That's a live discussion. If you ever run into me at one of these cons, you want to ask me about Halfling Himmler. I didn't come up with that term, by the way, and nobody here did. Somebody else did who's not on this podcast, and we were all aghast when he did it. Anyway, thank you all. Good night. And yes, Matt, you want?
I was just gonna say, well, you mentioned Ben, but did you? So, just so you guys know, so everyone loves. So Ben from Pink Bohawk will hopefully be joining us sometime in September. Working out
first
the
2
dates.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're hoping to talk about old school gaming and why we still love some of these games for all these decades later. We'll see. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Darcy. Bye.
Yep. And I thank you, Russ. And you know what? Matt and PowerPoints. What can you do? Good night.
What are you gonna do?